What God can do for you. Today we've got Sue Bartay with us, and she's got a rather remarkable testimony. And it all began, I suppose, you came from a decent family?
I did. My parents were...
What did your parents do?
What work did my father was a school teacher.
Yeah.
And I was brought up right.
And then you rebelled as a teenager.
I did. I went to college and suddenly I just went right off the rails. I got in with the wrong crowd and enjoyed every minute of it, and tried to outdo them in all the stupidity that young people can do. And yes.
So they persuaded you to get married?
My parents thought that getting married would sober me.
Settle you down.
Settle me down, give me some responsibility, and I did.
And what age was that?
I was 18 when I got married.
Oh, wow.
And so then you had 2 children?
And I had two children, yes. By the time I was 22, I had 2 children. And, but it didn't really settle me down. My character was the character of a rebel, and I still wanted to do my own thing, and all the time inside I knew it was wrong. And yet there was, you know, I really tried to quench that voice inside me. I did everything I could to quieten that voice inside me. It used to make me so angry that other people could go out drinking and doing all the things we were doing, and didn't seem to be a problem to them, but always that voice was there, and I did everything to quench it, but I didn't. It wouldn't be quenched.
Including quenching your thirst.
Absolutely, yes.
And so your marriage, your first marriage, broke up after 5 years?
It did, yes.
And I suppose you divorced?
Yes, yes.
And then you were on your own with 2 children?
I was, for a few years, and then I met my present husband.
But you had psychiatric help?
I was depressed. Really, depression was a way of saying I can't have my own way. It really was. Looking back, I know exactly what it was. And I saw a psychiatrist, and he said to me, "You can do whatever you want to do in life," which was really a license to kill, wasn't it? I mean, you can't do whatever you want to do in life. It's not responsibility when you've got responsibilities. But this is what he was teaching or telling me to do.
At what age was that?
Oh, I must have been about 25, I suppose. And I knew it was wrong. I knew it wasn't right, but somehow it appealed to the way I wanted to think at that time.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
did it encourage you to be more wild, or what?
Well, my thinking was wild because I had 2 children, who actually I did really enjoy my children. I didn't express it in that way, no.
No, yeah.
But I remarried, but I met my match.
You remarried. This time you married a rebel as well.
I did, yes. We were both rebels.
And so, by this time, you drank and you smoked rather.
I smoked heavily. I'd been smoking heavily for some years.
So you were the original fag en lil, as they say.
Yes. And yes,
chain smoking almost.
I was. I smoked very heavily, and I did try and stop it. My son once said to me, "Mummy, please don't smoke, you're going to die." And I really did try to give it up, but I couldn't.
And so the marriage, the second marriage, started to go from bad to worse.
It was quite tumultuous, yes. Yes, it was.
You married a Frenchman.
Well, yes.
And the neighbours could hear the discussions that got loud.
I'm sure they did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so what actually happened? You had another child then?
Yes, then my last daughter was born, and then Naomi would have been 7 at that time, and Nikki would have been 5, and then Nadine was born.
And then within 3 years you had another problem because Nikki was 8 at that time, was really rebellious and violent.
He was rebellious, he was violent.
Couldn't read.
Couldn't read. It was strange to get my head round it because he was one of the best players in the school chess team, and yet he couldn't read. And he was always having these dreadful nightmares at night, screaming out at night. He was always having accidents. We were going to A&E time after time after time. And I used to change hospitals in the end because it looked as if we were doing something. But in fact, he just seemed, it was almost as if something was trying to destroy him. And this child, I went to the school to see about his lack of academic progress. And they had no answers. No answers at all. They weren't really that interested. He was a non-achiever and he was classified and that was it. And it was just terrible. It rent me in two, this child.
And so then suddenly a neighbour, I suppose it was, invited you to the church. Is that right?
Well, I knew I had a problem, and I knew that I was the cause of the problem. I knew that my lifestyle was destroying my family. And more than my lifestyle, because my lifestyle had sobered down then, but my thinking. I knew that my parents were decent people, and they'd produce me, and I thought, what am I producing? What are my children going to be like? And so I started to go to the local church, and they were thrilled. They were
the local church?
The local church was thrilled because I think I was the first person that had walked through for a long time.
I can imagine that.
And they welcomed me with open arms, and I was going there, but I still knew I was destroying my family. And
it didn't change your life.
It didn't change anything.
No.
And it was getting to a point where I used to think, God, if you're there, please do something. God, if you're real, I need your help. And I used to get up in the night, and when everyone was asleep, and just say, dear God, I don't know what to do. I've done all this, and I don't deserve anything because I've done it. And that was where I was at. And a lady...
The wine was consumed in vast amounts.
Well, it was...
The smoking was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just everything was out of control.
Yeah. Okay, now, what happened? You ended up coming to the church.
With Phyllis, was it?
It was with Phyllis, yes, because Phyllis was going to the same church that I had gone to in Brentwood. And she came to me and she said, Susan, there are some meetings in Ongar. There was the...
a healing crusade with Trevor Deering.
That's right. And she said, come along. And I wasn't accustomed to having babysitters, and I said, I can't make it. But she didn't let me go. The crusade came and went, and she said, we're having meetings every Tuesday evening. I know you'll really enjoy it.